move on. So it's an interesting place. It has, the first thing I noticed about when I arrived at QAC is that it's got a bit of a identity crisis, because the name says Queen Alexandra College, but it's in actual fact a registered charity. So it's a registered charity, but it goes by the name of the college, just to confuse people. Before we even start talking about anything, we like to confuse people from the outset. So, but we're working on that. Give me time on that one. Watch this space. So who do we work with? With a range of people. As I say, we're a registered charity. We're set up to work with young adults, learning difficulties and learning disabilities. And just to give you a few examples of that, that means people with maybe on the autism spectrum, ADHD, hearing impairments, physical disability, things like cerebral palsy, or other supportive needs. So those are the people we serve. Through the college, it tends to be 16 to 25-year-olds. For other things, which I'll go into in a little while, it's a little bit older as well. So as I say, we have this bit of identity crisis, but we are a registered charity. And the first thing we do is we run a college. So as I said, for 16 to 25-year-olds and people with learning difficulties and learning disabilities. Now, we like to box people. People like to box people, but we can't box people at the college because our range of difficulties and disabilities are so varied. So for some students coming into the college, their aims while they're with us will be to improve their communication. Those will be their key aims. But for other students, it might be actually that we're going to get them through GCSEs and A-levels and they're going to go off to university. And then we have everybody in between. Sorry, I'm talking with my hands and I do apologise. But so we have a great range of needs, but it makes it really quite interesting. So as well as college, we have residential services. So although the majority of people are day students, we do have a number of students that will live in. Probably, I think it's around 40. We have the facilities for 40 students to actually live in. So we are a national college, although as I say, most of our students are predominantly people that will come on a day basis. In total, we have about 380 students, and probably about 40 of those are residential. We also then run Independent Plus. So Independent Plus is accommodation for young people that have left the college, but they want to live in social care, a social care setting. So it's like supported living for people with disabilities. With college and residential services, we work really hard with getting our young people to a point of us living as independent as they possibly can. And then, of course, they go to leave college and it's, well, where do they go? So actually what the charity's done is now created Independent Plus, where we can actually offer homes to former students for them to live in supported living. And then, so we've got these people in social care settings in Independent Plus, but what do they do throughout the day? So we provide community services as well. I'll unpack all these a little bit more in just a little while. And then on top of that, as if that isn't enough, we also run enterprises. And that's where we start to look at income generation and actually supporting all of these factors that come under the charity. So you can see from the list there, college is not really the right name for us. We are so much more. So for those people that like a little bit of history, a little bit of Birmingham history for you, you can trace QAC back to, well, actually just before 1846, so about to 1844. Elizabeth, I'm going to have to move this to get the surname because I can't remember. Elizabeth Harold, there you go, that was her name. Her father was a Birmingham merchant, and he had a vision for wanting to set up a blind school in Birmingham. Sadly, he didn't make his, he died before his vision was realised. But in 1846, his daughter, along with a lady called Mary Badger, rented a house in Edgbaston to educate young adults, well, children who were blind. The first student we know was a guy called John Dale, and he was 10 years old, and he'd become blind through smallpox. So that's how far we can trace QAC roots back to. In 1848, it was established as a public charity, and it started to support about 25 students. Growth continued, the need was there. And in 1852, it had two more buildings that it had, one over in Lickey, which isn't too far from where I am at the moment because I'm just north of Bromsgrove, but that one closed due to fire in 1977. So in 1904, the Court Oak Road premises were purchased, and this is a picture here of the Court Oak Road where it looks very grand. It doesn't look that grand now, and then my little office is just in the corner there. And it became a technical college then in the 1950s. So about 25 years or so ago, in 1998, it registered as a charity as we know it today, as Queen Alexandra College, with its charity registration number, and it's set up to support to promote education of people with special needs, to provide the relief of people with special needs, and to provide facilities for recreation and leisure time activities of people with special needs. So those were the aims and objectives set up 25 years ago. So that's sort of just brief history on QAC. Oops, no, that's not going to, there we go. So just to unpack a little bit more, as a college, we've got some lovely pictures here. This is on our Court Oak Road campus, the main campus for the college. We can see top left, we've got one of our students working on computers. We've got a fantastic computer suite. We've got an area called the Carton Centre. We're supported by the Carton Network, and they help us provide equipment for our students to do media, IT. They've got a lab where they can take computers apart and put them back together again and do all sorts of things. Love to be able to tell you more, but IT is completely over my head. But it's a lovely, lovely space, and they do some incredible things. We even had a student go on to university to do computer science. So actually really proud of the work that they do in there. I popped in there the other day because I needed some information, and I had a lovely student telling me all about this mobile app that he was creating. It was completely lost on me, but he had a lovely time telling me, and he was doing an absolutely amazing job. In the middle, top middle, we've got this is wheelchair football, Powerball, I think they call it. So we have an affiliation with the West Bromwich Albion Foundation, and we have some of our students that are doing placements there and training other people in how to do wheelchair football. Court Oak Road has a fantastic sports hall. It even has a climbing wall at the one end. So really like to get involved with disability sport where we can. Going bottom left, it's one of our students working in the arts and in the art department. Some of the artwork that our students create is just absolutely amazing. If we met in person, I would have bought some of it to show you, because it honestly. Middle bottom is one of our catering and hospitality students. If you can see it very closely, it's difficult on the screen. She's using one of the aids and adaptations for the kitchen to make cutting and things safer. So rather than holding a tomato with her hand, she's using a little gadget to make it safer. But we have a number of students that are working for their catering qualifications. And then on the bottom right, we have a trades department, which is phenomenal. You walk past this door, open this door, and there's normally a car hanging from some piece of mechanical equipment, and with students looking around. But then they've also got, on the other side, which is shown here, woodwork facilities. So we've got students who very much prefer working with their hands, and they make the most beautiful bird boxes that they sell occasionally. And at Christmas they'd made reindeer out of blocks of wood, and they were attaching like the antlers and heads and things. Just really, really talented. So that's our Court Oak Road premises, which is our main premises. Oh, just top right, You'll be able to see it. That's one of our well, that's the students' tuck shop. So they run their own tuck shop to make their own money, which goes back into the college and pays for even more tuck, and if any spare goes into activities. But it means that they get experience of how to do customer services, how to sell. It helps them with their money and learning about, you know, how to deal with cash. So that's great. They've also got a second-hand shop that they've got on site as well, which is just for students and staff. But again, they run it. So it's a great learning opportunity for them. And then this is, I have to say, I love this site. So this is our Umberslade site, and it is just down the road from is it Asda or Morrison's in Sturchley? I can't remember which one, but it's just down the road from there, and it's a little green haven in the middle of the city centre, really. And it's where our students can do basic horticultural courses. We have an animal care course as well that work out of there. And then we also have some of our community services that will go out to Umberslade and take part in different activities. We have a forest school there. We have a wild area. There's an orchard. We have polytunnels, which you can see planting. Just a fantastic, fantastic facility. And if the video plays, I'll be able to show you a little bit more.
Located on the border of Selly Oak and Sturchley, the newly refurbished Umberslade campus is a rural idyll in an urban setting, dedicated to horticulture and outdoor learning. The campus is being developed to provide excellent outdoor learning opportunities and experiences for students to study in a high-quality, safe and accessible environment. It has a purpose-built eating and kitchen area, a range of personal care facilities, quality learning spaces, and a range of outdoor learning facilities, such as polytunnels, wooden huts, a greenhouse, wild garden area, cultivated garden areas, and a small orchard. Students who attend the Umberslade campus receive the same quality experience and specialist support from QAC staff. If you would like to find out more about what QAC can offer, please call us on 0121 428 5050 or visit our website.
There we go. You have to excuse the videos because I've only been there 3 months. They're not very fundraising friendly at the moment, or very. They're more kind of our the ones that we use for marketing to try and encourage students to come and join us. The other area we've got, the other campus that we've got, is over at Pinewood, what we call Pinewood, and this is actually over at Woodgate Valley Business Park, so not very far from us at all. And MenCap have a few business suites out there, and we've got one of those areas from them. And what we do at Pinewood is we work with students that are on a course called assisted internships, supported internships. There we go, got there eventually. And basically these are students that have come through the college, they've got their qualifications, and we then start to work with them to try and get them out into the community, into the workplace. So we assist them in that. So it might be that there might be a little bit of maths and English additional work that they need to do while they're with us here at Pinewood, or it might be that we need to be actually going with them, getting work placements for them, going with them to the first few ones that they go to, so that they settle in, they know the journey. And then once they start to feel comfortable, then we can leave them to have their work experience. So that it's just extra bit of support where they're needed. So I'm just going to read you a couple of, well, 3 actually, statements from 3 of our students that have been through Pinewood. So this is a guy called Kevin, and he says this: Pinewood is a lovely environment. Staff and students all get along really well together, and we are like a family. This has been the best year for me during my time at QAC. I have learnt so much. The supported internship programs have been both good at building your confidence, helping you to manage your anxiety about going out into the world of work. They offer you the opportunity to actually experience a real work environment, which is very supportive and readies you for when you leave college and look for work yourself. With the help of the job coaches, I've really enjoyed my work experience placement at Extra Care, a retirement village in Birmingham. It was a real joy to be part of and wonderful to have had the opportunity to go to work. As part of my supported internship programme, I have business admin, customer services and English and maths session during the week. I also enjoy choosing different club activities to relax, socialise and participate in, such as colouring, reading and board games on Wednesday afternoons and wellbeing sessions on Friday. The travel training and rehab team have worked with me to learn routes to various places so that I can improve my independence and travel skills. Assisted technology and software such as VI-friendly keyboards with large letters and colour contrast keys and Zoom text help me to be more independent and not rely on the staff so much. I also get access to Braille and touch typing sessions with qualified teachers twice a week at the main QAC campus. So that kind of shows you a bit about Pinewood, but a bit more about the whole sort of wraparound care as well for our students. I just want to introduce you briefly to Amy. So the work placement team at QAC secured the placement for me. I deliver coaching sessions at the Albion Foundation Sports Hall every Monday evening, and I coach power chair football on Thursdays and Fridays at West Bromwich Leisure Centre. The work placements help me to gain experience creating lesson plans for my sessions, working in collaboration with staff members from the Albion Foundation. I've achieved my FA Level 1 in football coaching. In addition to my work placement, I'm also undertaking English and maths sessions with a tutor from Main College campus. The business admin lessons are really useful to me because I am learning a range of different skills in my unit work, such as how to use different equipment safely in the work environment and working well and positively with other staff and peers. I've also been involved in a couple of enterprise projects, which I've learned about customer services. I did not enjoy being at Pinewood at first because my friends were still on main campus. However, I soon got into a routine of coming here on a regular basis and now really enjoy being at Pinewood. I've made lots of friends here. I've been working with the rehab team and travel team to go to the local shop in my wheelchair. I've now been signed off by the team to go there myself. This has further increased my independence. Although I'm based at Pinewood, I'm still a residential student at the main college campus and still use the mentoring, counselling support services along with the physiotherapy team. I've enjoyed my time at Pinewood, gaining the necessary work skills to start applying for a job. And then finally, there's a guy called Bradley. I'm completing work which is effectively helping me prepare for and progress towards future employment, whilst being supported by friendly staff who always make you feel welcome. During my work placement at Resource for Autism in Birmingham, I had no problems understanding and following instruction given as they were specifically explained to me in detail. I felt very comfortable working there and I really enjoyed using the programs such as Excel and Word. The placements was a fantastic experience, excuse me, for me, as I would like to be employed as a support member of staff for people with special educational needs in the future. Sessions at Pinewood have helped me improve my maths. I used to panic and become physically tense when I did maths, but I feel like my confidence has drastically improved. I do not participate in English sessions anymore as I passed my GCSE exam, so my tutor has given me admin tasks to complete instead. I feel very comfortable when it comes to everything I do at Pinewood, including my mentoring and mobility sessions. I've used the equipment in the kitchen at lunchtime and travel to Pinewood via the transport provided in space thing. So that just gives you a little bit of an oversight on the work we do with supported interns. And then a bit more about residential services. So as I said before, these are where the students live on site. So they're at the college. They're doing their study. As I said, for some, it will be about improving their communication or preparation for life rather than a GCSE or an A-level. But basically our remit is to try and get students to the best version of themselves they can possibly be. And for those that are residential, it's about encouraging them to cook, to take care of themselves, to do everything else that students would do at university and college, but they've obviously got somebody with them to support them. So here's just a little explanation from one of the guys.
Bobby lives on campus and is getting a taste for independent living in one of the residential houses.
I enjoy being independent. It's everything to me, really. I actually learned how to properly take care of myself. Now I can cook my own meal, do my own washing. If you really want to increase your independence, then here's a place to come.
There we go. So Bobby just encouraging other people to come to QAC. It's just really lovely. Part of our whole remit is to just really try and get these students to be as independent as they possibly can be while they're with us. And those that come through residential services, as I said before, where do they go after they're finished with us? So the charity then set up Independent Plus. We've now got 9 houses around the area. Some of them have got, I think the minimum is 3 people. The largest house has got 9 in. And some of them have staff members in full-time, 24 hours a day. Some need less. Some of our clients need less support. So we've got some that only have during the daytime. So it's a real mix depending on what the needs are of the clients, really. And then what do they do during the day? We try and encourage our students and our clients into employment and being part of the local community where they can. We do have people that go out into further education. We have people that go out into the work environment. But a number that aren't quite there will often work in charity shops around the area, and Harborne has quite a few of those, which is great, and also a lot of charities actually. So they will go and volunteer where they can, but also they do need, for those that aren't quite at that point, but actually during the rest of the time they do need time to be with other people and socialise. So Birmingham City Council normally would have like community centres for them to go to, but in Harborne we don't. In the local area there isn't one, so we've set one up, and then Birmingham City Council or the local authority will give those that have got the learning disability registration, they will get a personal care budget, and they can use that to spend to access our community services. That basically pays for the staff in the building. The charity is therefore then paying for all the activities and all the over and abovs and outings and just things to make it actually a nice place to be. But yeah, community services, they will go out on the trikes. They'll take the trikes up to Cannon Hill Park, for example, or they'll go out to the cinema, or they'll do activities within the centre itself. So that's community services. And then just a little note on enterprise. So I put enterprise in red before. The reason being is that these are the areas that we are trying to utilise to bring money in to the charity, so that we're not just relying on charitable donations all the time, or the EHCP money or the PC money, the personal care money from local authorities, but actually we're trying to make us as sustainable as we possibly can. And we have an expertise in lots of different areas, so we might as well use those. So first of all formats is just up the road from where we're based in Court Oak Road. And what it is, it's if you see on the bottom of your bank statement, when your bank statement comes, if you need your bank statement to come in any other formats, or you need help with reading it, please contact us. This is where the banks would come to, an organisation like All Formats. So they basically transfer everything into whatever it is that you need, whether that's Braille, large print, whether it's audio. So they'll do things like bank statements, they'll do books, they'll do whatever it is that's needed. So that is starting to operate as a business. We know quite a bit about canes. I mean, originally, QAC was set up as a blind school, effectively. It was called. If you ask any of the bus drivers locally around Birmingham, if you say, can you take me to Queen Alexandra College, they're not likely to know where it is. But if you say to the bus driver, can you take me to the blind school in Birmingham, they'll bring you to QAC. That's the history that's there. So we know a little bit about this area. So we are now the sole importer of a new type of carbon fibre cane. So again, it's something that we can sell. We know about, and we can purchase and we sell. So we're running that as a business. And then Site Village, still got some work to do on this to make it profitable. But Site Village is basically an exhibition. We have them 4 times a year around the country, and they are exhibitions for people with sight impairments. And people come to exhibit, whether it's new tech or whether it's support. So the guide dogs people will be there, Sight and Sound will be there, which is a tech company. So and we have people from all over the country and actually over from Europe coming across to come to Site Village. It is the only such thing in the UK that we're aware of. So we are trying as a charity to do, to try and be sustainable, to try and income generate ourselves as well. The other side of it is we can rent out our spaces. So we can actually rent out Umberslade if we want to. And we've also got facilities at QAC at the Court Oak Road building as well. So how does it all work? Because I've mentioned DHCP money and PC funding and trading and I've mentioned, so here we go. We're a charity. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. We have to be, accountable for what it is. So here are the figures. This is what we did last year. So EHCP is the Educational Health Care Plan money. So if you're a young person and you have a registered disability, you can access this fund. You can choose your college or wherever it is you want to go to for your education, and this money will come with you. So that comes to the college, but that will pay for whatever it is that student needs. So it will cover the education, it will cover potentially if there's physiotherapy or if there's a medical need, it will cover some of the money for that. It never covers everything in its entirety. It just doesn't, it can't. But £13 million of our income comes from that. And the personal care funding is a similar thing, but for those with learning difficulties and disabilities, but once they've left college and they're entering, so it's post-college effectively. So they can use some of their money to access the community services. On top of that, the trading and enterprise that I just spoke about, that's probably it is about £690,000 that we brought in from those 3 areas. So that's an area we really want to look at growing. And then the fundraising was at about 800,000 last year. But if I tell you, the majority of that came from 1 grant. There's quite a lot of potential, which I think is why they've brought me in to see what we can do with that. So it's quite exciting. You'll see, we're pretty much spending what's coming in. So what are we spending it on? So the natural question. So as I said, I've only been here 3 months, but there are a number of things that are creeping on the shopping list. The shopping list is slowly getting longer. Some of them are just so simple, it's ridiculous. So covered walkways. The campus is spread out all over the place. There's lots of different buildings that you have to get from and to. There's very good disabled access walkways. However, if it's raining or it's cold, which it often is, you can do that. You can navigate it. You can navigate it with your cane. You can navigate it with your wheelchair. However, do you want to go from top of campus to the bottom of campus just to get a hot chocolate from the canteen when it's freezing? You might want to just stay where you are. So it's actually keeping peers away from peers, which is not great. We want to give everybody the same accessibility. The other thing is with visually impaired students, even if it's dry and lovely and sunny, that's equally that's a difficulty for our visually impaired students, because it can really affect affect their site, the site that they do have when they're coming down campus. So we want to try and get some walkways covered. We need a personal care room for our sports hall. We desperately need some computer upgrades so that we are preparing our students adequately. Assisted tech. Again, some of our students will get grants for these, but what we do find is that there are other students that don't qualify for the grants, but they can benefit from the kit. And that can be anything from a pen that can read text and transfer it into audio, which I think is incredibly clever, or something as simple, and I have to say this is my favourite because it's tangible and it's understandable, a keyboard where all the keys have just a little ridge around them, so that for our students that have a tremor, their finger just is staying on the key that they need. It's not slipping onto another one. How simple is that? It's just so simple and clever. And then we need activity programs for our community services so that we can add on to what we're already providing. And then we also have social clubs, which don't get funded by anybody. But our community services clients want us to meet with others, outside of 9 till 3. Naturally, they're, it's 16 to 25, possibly a little bit older. So we're providing social clubs for them. But there is absolutely no funding for that. So we're looking at that as well. So those are just a few things that are on my shopping list at the moment that we're going for. And how do we bring that in? All kinds of ways. You've probably heard it all before. Community support from groups such as yourself, people out in the community, corporate support, businesses. We've got a check there, a lovely guy that came in over Christmas from a company called Thomas Dudley. A student, the top guy is a guy called Connor. He was a former student and he raised over £500 by doing a hand bike, half an hour on a hand bike, which for him and his disability is a long time. So he did great. Charitable trusts and foundations is, I think, where we're going to be, where a lot of my work is focused at the moment. In mem donations, gifts in wills, it's all the standard sort of thing. Sponsorship opportunities, which we're especially looking towards our events programs and also with our enterprise, especially our site village exhibition as well. So got quite a task on my hand, but I'm very much looking forward to taking it forward and seeing where it all goes. So that's a very whistle-stop tour